History holds remarkable stories, many still untold. Join us as we uncover Africa's forgotten knowledge, one discovery at a time. Welcome to BTS Africa Media, presented by the Social Architect. Before Sumer, before Egypt, before writing itself, someone in southern Africa was counting, in base units, on bone. Did ancient Africans invent the world's first calendar? The evidence may change how you see history. I'm the social architect, a medical sociologist, and someone who spends her research life asking one specific question. What does a society choose to remember, and what does it choose to leave out? That question is exactly what pulled me into writing my book, Lunar Mysticism, a deep dive into African knowledge, belief, and tradition surrounding the moon and the body. That case study is where that story begins. Today we're looking at an object of great spark and curiosity, a carved bone artifact that some anthropologists refer to as one of the earliest known mathematical tools. Long before anyone wrote a date down, human beings were already living inside time. They watched the sun rise and set, they watched their bodies change, and above all, they watched the moon. Of every cycle visible in nature, the moon's roughly 29.5-day rhythm is the most obvious, the most regular, and the easiest to count without instruments. It is no surprise, then, that when archaeologists look for humanity's earliest attempts to track time, the moon keeps appearing at the center of the story. At the center of this inquiry sit two small, unassuming objects, the Lebombo bone and the Ishango bone, both carved from baboon fibulae, both marked with rows of notches, and both found in Africa. They are often celebrated as proof that Africa produced the world's first calendar and the world's first mathematicians. By the end of this video, you'll know what the Lebombo bone is. You'll know what the physical evidence does and doesn't prove. You'll understand why a disciplined set of markings on a baboon's leg bone may be one of the earliest examples of symbolic counting behavior in the human record. And you'll understand why you've likely never been taught its name. Let's start with the discovery itself. The Lebombo bone was recovered from Border Cave, a site in the Lebombo Mountains on the border between South Africa and Eswatini. It's a fragment of a baboon's fibula, the long bone that runs alongside the shin of the animal. And archaeologists found 29 clearly carved, deliberate notches on this bone. Archaeological dating, most notably associated with the work of researcher Peter Beaumont, places the bone at roughly 42 to 44,000 years old. 29 is not just an ordinary number, it's associated with the 29.5-day lunar cycle and also with the female menstrual cycle. Because of this near match, the Lebombo bone has been proposed, most notably by ethnomathematician Claudia Zaslavsky in her influential 1973 book, Africa Counts, as a possible lunar phase tally or a menstrual cycle counter. Zaslavsky argued the 29 notches was symbolic of woman keeping track of her own body and probably among the first human species anywhere to turn a bodily and celestial rhythm into a recorded number. Have you ever stopped to think about how the earliest women may have tracked, managed, and made meaning of their own cycles, not only in notches on a bone, but in the plants, oils, rituals, and knowledge passed down around them? Across the continent, the moon and menstruation are bound together in beliefs and practices that rarely make it into mainstream history. And that exact thread, from ancient tally bones to living oral tradition, is what I trace in full in my book, Lunar Mysticism. Claudia Zaslavsky's idea has been genuinely influential. It reframed the history of mathematics in two important ways. First, by placing Africa, rather than Europe or the Near East, at the origin point of numerical notation, and second, by suggesting that women whose intellectual contributions are chronically underrepresented in histories of science may have been present at that origin. Popular science writing has often compressed this into the phrase, African women may have been the first mathematicians. The Lebombo and Ishango bones sit at a rare and genuinely exciting intersection of sociology, anthropology, and archaeology. Sociologically, they raise the question of what social and bodily needs first pushed humans to count cycles at all. and whose intellectual contributions get remembered when we tell that story. The Ishango bone, a similarly notched artifact found in the Democratic Republic of Congo, identified in 1950 by Belgian geologist Jean de Heinzelin. It predates the earliest known tally sticks recovered in Europe, including those from Upper Paleolithic sites in Central Europe, by tens of thousands of years. It predates the origins of agriculture, generally dated to around 12,000 years ago. It predates the earliest writing systems in Sumer, in ancient Mesopotamia, by nearly 40 millennia, and it predates the pyramids of Giza, in Egypt, built around 4,500 years ago by an almost incomprehensible margin. From the evidence presented, what can be said with confidence is this: modern humans in Africa were carving structured, deliberate numerical records onto bone. Whether those early African notches recorded moons, menstrual cycles, prime numbers, hunting tallies, or something else entirely, they stand as some of the earliest evidence anywhere in the world that the human mind, wherever it lived, solved the problem of remembering time and quantity by carving the world itself. Africa's contributions to world history is often underrepresented. Most standard accounts of mathematics begin with Sumerian and Babylonian numeral systems from roughly 5,000 years ago, followed by Egyptian and Greek achievements. Prehistoric tally systems rarely get more than a passing mention. Despite being among the oldest known artifacts of its kind, the Lebombo bone is rarely mentioned. This omission directly shapes what future generations view as the starting point of mathematical history. To be clear, this isn't a claim of a coordinated effort to suppress the artifact. It is simply naming a documented pattern. African prehistoric findings have historically received less institutional attention, less funding for follow-up study, and slower integration into global curricula than comparable European finds, a pattern historians have documented extensively. That gap is not a reason for outrage. It's a reason to close it one video, one fact, one conversation at a time. If this is the kind of history you want more of, evidence-based, unafraid, and unapologetically centered on this continent, subscribe to BTS Africa Media and turn on notifications. This is one episode inside a much larger series. If you enjoyed this video, my book Lunar Mysticism goes much deeper into these topics with several more case studies. Grab your copy via the link in the description or pinned comment below. Next time, we go to Mali to visit a cliffside society called the Dogon, and to explore a piece of astronomical knowledge that has divided anthropologists for 80 years. Subscribe to BTS Africa Media. We are creating a better tomorrow. I'll see you in the next episode.